Veterans, elders, youth, fellow Métis. It's that time of year again when under normal circumstances we would be gathered for our annual assembly to hear reports, receive directions for the future, and enjoy the company of family and friends. As everyone is aware, all major gatherings had to be cancelled because of COVID-19, and that included our 92nd Annual Assembly. So for this year, your provincial and regional leadership will provide highlights of the year through online videos. And a full reporting of fiscal year 2019-2020 and 2020-21 will be provided at the next Annual Assembly, August 2021 at Métis Crossing. This last year has certainly presented some trying times with the COVID-19 pandemic, the floods, and the tragic deaths of Métis hunters. This is an unprecedented time, and many Métis Nation citizens and family, like so many all over the world, have been impacted by loss of income, home insecurity, school and daycare closures, mental stress and isolation, and other life-changing situations. Since March, because of COVID-19, we have all had to change the way we live, work, connect with one another, and had to find ways to provide services to our citizens. Firstly, from our MNA funds, we were able to provide $1.2 million, that's $200,000 to each region, to provide immediate assistance to our citizens in need prior to receiving any federal government funds. The MNA did receive $7.5 million from the federal government for COVID-19 support, which provided another $1.8 million, that's $300,000 per region, to continue to support citizens at the regional and local level with groceries, gift cards, medication, utilities, and other stresses related to the pandemic, a total of $500,000 per region. At the provincial level, we created the Emergency Child Wellness Benefit for those impacted by school and daycare closures. 2,428 families for a total of $4.7 million. The Emergency Rent Supplement Program for those who experienced loss of income due to the pandemic. 753 families for a total of $2.25 million. Youth Benefit Program to support youth with loss of summer income, educational needs, and wellness costs, such as counseling or outdoor activity fees. 1,382 families access this fund for a total of $1.3 million. We topped up the Benevolent Fund to better assist families who have lost loved ones. 38 recipients for a total of $17,200. Rupert's Land Institute provided support to Métis students by providing Chromebooks and online learning tools to supplement children's educational needs, totaling $650,000. Plus, Rupert's Land also provided monetary support to regions to hire temporary workers and summer students during this time, totaling $750,000. Funding for Apitagosan, support for Métis-owned businesses so they could continue providing service. $1.2 million for 200 Métis entrepreneurs. Funding for Métis Crossing to keep essential travel, cover overhead costs, and continue planning for the grand opening and future events, $500,000. We provided 150 masks and gloves for the protection of Métis citizens and MNA staff across the province. The virtual Alberta Métis Fest to support our musicians and artists struggling with the loss of income, as well as Métis artisans by purchasing door prizes and promoting their products online. For all of this collaborative work, I want to say thank you to the MNA Provincial Council, head office and regional staff, Rupert's Land Institute board and staff, Apitagosan board and staff, our Housing Corporation's board and staff, and numerous volunteers. It is also very important to recognize all frontline workers, doctors, nurses, all medical professionals, for your long hours, your sacrifices, and dedication to keeping us safe and healthy. Thank you. In addition, the communities of Fort McMurray and Fort Vermilion in the north had to deal with devastating floods that impacted many of our Métis families. Devastating floods led to evacuation orders for many residents of Fort McMurray and Fort Vermilion. Immediately, we provided $90,000 to MNA Region 1 to support Métis citizens in Fort McMurray affected by the floods, as well as $50,000 to Region 6 to support Métis citizens in Fort Vermilion. Work has continued for both regions to assist citizens in Fort McMurray and Fort Vermilion. The MNA's Tail Creek Campground in the south, operated by Region 3, suffered serious damage in a flood also. It created a huge mess that required approximately $20,000 to clean up. And following the tragic deaths of two Métis hunters, Morris Cardinal and Jake Sampson, who were shot while hunting for foods for their family, the MNA has attempted to support the family in many different ways. One of our Métis lawyers has offered support to them in understanding the court process. The Lethbridge Local has provided support services to the Sampson family in the south, while Region 2 leadership have provided support to the Cardinal family in the Bonnyville area. And our MNA staff have organized fundraisers for the family. Whether through the COVID-19 life-changing situations, the devastation of floods, or the tragic deaths of Métis citizens, the MNA will always be there to help in any way we can. Finances. Based on the signing of our Government of Canada agreements and the recognition received and the resources provided, the MNA has a very strong financial position again this year. Nationally, the Métis governments of Ontario, Saskatchewan, and Alberta convened a meeting hosted by the MNA at Métis Crossing in January 2020 to continue working together at the national level. A second gathering, a national conference on Métis self-government, was hosted by MNO to continue moving forward on the clear, mutually agreeable path of recognition for our Métis governments. As soon as is safe to do so, our governments will convene a third meeting hosted by MNS to further define our path forward. As for the Métis National Council, we, as one of the founding members, have continued to call for a board meeting, having not had any in over 2 years, as well as seeking more transparency and accountability for decisions made. The MNA's women's group, New Dawn Society of Alberta, which is part of the larger Women of the Métis Nation nationally, continue to support discussions and ways of supporting the Missing and Murdered Women and Girls Initiative, as well as regional activities for women. Métis Judiciary Council. As reported this year by the MJC, the relaunch of the council involved a lot of work, training, discussion, and planning. They welcomed new members as well as maintained a few former members. All outstanding matters were reviewed and resolved that were left in abeyance due to the temporary shutdown for the review process. They explored ways to improve the MJC policy and procedures for resolving complaints. They received a presentation on the process the MNA registry uses for membership. They received 2 complaints and requests for opinions in 2019, and they received 1 complaint in 2020, resulting in a hearing ordered. They also updated their webpage link. Housing. Key projects and successes for 2019-20. Métis Capital received funding from Alberta Seniors and Housing for the rebuilding of 23 homes. We are planning the construction of Phase 2 of the Family Reunification Program in Bonnyville. This program focuses on reuniting mothers, fathers, and their children by providing long-term housing with support services. This new phase will assist 12 families, uniting them with their children who were placed in care. There were 140 applications approved for home repair program. There were 48 applications approved for the down payment assistance program. There were also 171 applications approved for the rental supplement program and 29 applications approved for the student rental supplement program. Total renovations completed this year were 48 in Métis Urban Housing and 55 in Métis Capital Housing. Registry highlights. Registry hosted 97 sessions all across the province to assist citizens with completing applications. Applications received this year were 603 with 3,500 citizenship cards issued. Training. Under Métis Training to Employment, Rupert's Land Institute funded a total of 1,188 clients in many different careers. 842 of them are employed, 54 self-employed, and 292 returned to school. Online services have been very busy this year, where 333 students received funding and counseling support, which included 110 apprentices, 73 in final year diploma programs, and 150 students in post-secondary degree programs. Education. The Alberta Métis Education Council of Rupert's Land and staff are developing 5 foundational knowledge themes to share the Métis story. These themes will help teachers develop their knowledge to meet the new teacher quality standards. Rupert's Land has received funding for Michif language revitalization, with the main goals of increasing the number of teaching and learning resources aimed at early childhood education and K-12, and also to increase the number of training opportunities for instructors and teachers of early learning. Rupert's Land Institute is also in the beginning stages of developing early learning and childcare initiatives and centers that deliver Métis designed and implemented programs and services to MNA citizens and to support early learning curriculum development for educators. Also, over the coming months, citizens can expect to have a post-secondary education program in place with additional frontline staff to help students access school programs, navigate new programs and services, and adjust to campus life. Health. Métis-specific health research is still a priority for the MNA due to the lack of health programs specific to the needs of Métis people. We are continuing to do health reports. Next is arthritis and also mental wellness and addictions. The Transitions in Care project will further explore health outcomes related to diabetes. Our cancer research continues that incorporates community-based consultation with Métis cancer patients, survivors, and family members. These experiences will be compiled into a cancer journey resource tool to help Métis navigate the cancer control system following a diagnosis. We continue to cover the costs of mileage for Métis citizens to attend cancer-related appointments. 9 families accessed this service this year. The Métis Suicide Knowledge Awareness Project aims to increase recognition of mental health concerns specifically related to suicide. We also continue to provide free accommodations for citizens needing to travel to Edmonton for medical services not available in their home community. Children. The Métis Family Resource Program assisted 16 families that had children's service involvement. They also identified 40 children in care that were not earlier identified as Métis. The Supports and Service Navigator at MNA helps to direct Métis to programs and services that are appropriate for their specific needs. 1,685 citizens have accessed this service, with 385 of them specifically for COVID-19 related matters. Our Back to School Backpack Project once again provided 1,200 Métis children going to kindergarten, grade 1 and 2 with necessary school supplies. And our youth. The MNA Youth Council and youth coordinators have been very active this past year. Métis Discovery Day, a new event seeing 43 schools and 2,500 students attend a day of fun and learning about Métis culture and traditions at the Edmonton Expo Centre. The Headstrong Mental Health Summit. This event was held in Grand Prairie, chosen because of recent reports of a high number of suicide and mental health challenges among Métis youth in the northern communities. Once again, the 4th annual Youth and Seniors Gathering reached capacity of 450 Métis citizens between the ages of 12 to 29 and seniors 60 plus to enjoy inspiring speakers, entertainment, and cultural workshops. Family winter camps once again were very popular, with ice fishing, outdoor survival training, snowshoeing, beading, jigging, and fish scale art. Prior to COVID-19, regional youth coordinators were running cultural enrichment programs, life skills programming, and weekly youth hangout groups in each of the regions. The Youth Programs and Services Department also sent out wellness kits to young citizens who may be struggling with mental well-being during this time. Veterans. As reported last year, MNC has received and is administering an agreement of $30 million to compensate veterans and to create a veterans legacy. Here in Alberta, we have not seen much support. Only 2 World War veterans have been honored to date. I have continued writing letters and having discussions with the Government of Canada to secure funds specifically for MNA to properly honor and recognize our veterans here in Alberta. And as per resolution from the Annual Assembly, we are in the midst of building the monument to recognize our Métis veterans at Métis Crossing. It will be finished later this year. As of September 1, 2019, Métis citizens began applying for harvester's cards. Citizens no longer need to apply to Fish and Wildlife for tags or a hunting license. There have been 4,500 applications so far. 3,900 citizens have been approved, with 78% approved for all 4 harvesting areas. Negotiations are continuing with the Government of Alberta on recognition for Southern Alberta, but the process has been extremely slow. Métis Consultation is a legal process all levels of government must undertake with the MNA whenever they continue actions that may impact the collective rights, claims, and interests of the Métis. MNA has implemented regional consultation offices in accordance with the regional consultation protocols. Even though the Government of Alberta will not recognize the MNA consultation policy, engagement sessions continue with MNA citizens who express their concerns regarding the impact to Métis rights. Climate change. MNA continues to work on several initiatives under the Climate Change Action Plan, like operational solar systems in 11 MNA sites, continued work on the 5 megawatt solar farm at Métis Crossing, and we've developed a community-based monitoring program to address Métis citizens' concerns regarding the environment and climate change. We've completed the Provincial Economic Development Strategy that will provide the strategic roadmap forward. Alberta Métis Works the improved Métis Business Directory that was launched in 2019 has over 200 business profiles created. Alberta Métis Works will also feature employment opportunities and share information about grant programs and funding opportunities to help the business community. Apitigosan. This fiscal year, Apitigosan approved $5.6 million in funding assistance to new and existing businesses, constituting a 65% increase from last year. Pinnacle Business Services assisted in the development of over 50 business plans for clients. Apitigosan and Rupert's Land Institute continue to partner to assist clients seeking capital assistance and training with entrepreneurship and self-employment initiatives. So another steady year of business for our Lending Institute. MNA communications have been very busy with the Otapimsawak magazine, e-newsletters, Facebook, website, and Twitter. Very active with COVID-19 information, Métis Fest, Métis Week, Youth and Seniors Gathering, supporting all MNA departments as well as MNA affiliates when needed. Their efforts have certainly had a positive impact and keep our citizens informed of all that the MNA does. Métis Crossing. I'm pleased to report that Métis Crossing's Cultural Gathering Centre is now open and hosted a Métis Children's Christmas Party in December 2019 as the first official event. As with everything else, COVID-19 prevented the grand opening as well as all other summer events from going forward, but planning and developing is continuing. A 40-room accommodation lodge will be built in time for the grand opening and the 2021 annual assembly. We are pleased to have supported 10 summer students to continue to work this summer at Métis Crossing. Self-government. As reported last year, with the signing of our self-government agreement, Canada has finally recognized our right to self-government and guaranteed a clear path forward. We are continuing to move forward on that path after a pause due to COVID. Our negotiators are working on our transition plan and fiscal financing arrangement with Canada. Our Constitution Commission, stalled for a time due to COVID, has been in place since January 2020, developing the processes to ensure citizens have an opportunity for involvement. Very shortly, there will be roundtables where groups such as Provincial Council, Elders Council, Youth Council, Judiciary Council, committees, and boards of the MNA affiliates will be able to review and provide feedback on a draft outline of the Constitution. Next hearings will be announced, so any MNA citizen or small group have the opportunity to present and be heard on what our Métis government should look like. Hopefully, we will soon be able to have community meetings or a large gathering to discuss and debate our Constitution for the future governance of the Métis Nation within Alberta. So once again, I want to say thank you to everyone who has worked hard to find ways during this stressful time to continue supporting our MNA citizens. These virtual reports are some of the highlights of the 2019-2020 fiscal year, and we look forward to doing a full reporting of the 2 fiscal years during the 93rd Annual Assembly at Métis Crossing in August 2021. Thank you.
Good afternoon. We have a special award from the Métis Nation of Alberta. Each year, the Métis Nation of Alberta selects a prominent Métis person for a special award for their contributions towards the Métis cause in Alberta. Longtime dedicated members have helped the Métis Nation make great strides in the last few years on issues important to Métis citizens. Métis leaders see the importance of recognizing outstanding contributions and dedication.
This year's award recipient is in memory of Tom Ghostkeeper. Tom was raised on the Paddle Prairie Métis settlement and was a very active citizen of the Métis Nation of Alberta. Tom's career started out in radio and television. This is probably why he was such a great master of ceremony. If there was a Métis function, Tom was at the podium, gracing the audience with his wonderful sense of humor. With a great educational background, he had his choice of many different careers through his lifetime, with the highlight being in 1989 when he received a call to become the Special Assistant to the Minister of Justice and Native Services. Prior to his retirement, Tom dedicated the next few years to working for the betterment of Métis people as Director and Tribunal Secretary for the Métis Settlements General Council. Even after he retired, he remained active by volunteering on boards for various Métis organizations. Tom was a family man and knew he met the love of his life, Martha, and within 3 weeks of dating, he proposed. They married on June 29, 1974, and had 3 beautiful daughters, Marla, Shannon, and Desiree. Mere words cannot express our appreciation for everything he has done. So we humbly say, thank you. Tom's memory will live on forever in the hearts of his friends, family, and nation. I would like to ask Martha and Marla to join me as I present this year's Métis Nation of Alberta Provincial Recognition Award, Mr. Tom Ghostkeeper.
Thank you on behalf of our family.